Peace, infinite waters diving deep once again. Can I get a hello there? First it was bird flu, then swine flu, now Ebola. Is Ebola a man-made virus? The zombie apocalypse. So I posted on Twitter, Ebola is a man-made disease. There was a lot of interest, a lot of questions. Make a video. I said, you make a video, I'll film it. In fact, I'll pay for you to do it. I'm gonna talk about linking this situation with becoming your greatest version. How we can empower ourselves from this. Because right now, there is a massive media frenzy. I say, let love guide you, not fear. The first person who had it just died in the US. Screening in the US at certain airports. Cases in Norway and Spain. So there is a lot of concern, and rightly so. What is Ebola? It is an RNA virus, ribonucleic acid, which is present in all living cells. 1976, the first case, the person dies in the Congo. There's a river in the Congo, and that's called Ebola, so they named the virus after that. Fast forward, 2014, a massive outbreak in West Africa. There is no cure. That's what makes Ebola so terrifying, so frightening, so horrific. 2 people, US citizens in Liberia, they got treated with an experimental drug called ZMapp, and it appeared to treat some of the symptoms. And this is from the biopharmaceutical company in San Diego. But as of yet, nobody has an answer as to how to treat this virus. Who? The World Health Organization has stated that so far 3,829 people have died of the Ebola virus, and 8,000 people have been infected. Diving deep, you know you always have to question. You better get your goggles out. We're going to take a long dive deep. Go down where the sun stops shining. Okay. Along my early journey, I came across 2 books which changed my life and helped me to become the greatest version of myself. The first one was Emerging Viruses, AIDS and Ebola, Nature, Accident or Intentional by Dr. Leonard Horowitz. Fantastic read. He talks of the business of disease, how easy it is to create viruses, and that there is no money to be made in the cure. Only in keeping people on drugs which are pretending to act as a cure. And also how vaccinations are not the simple solution. He came from a naturopathic, holistic approach, which was fascinating. The second book was called The Hot Zone by Richard Preston. The terrifying truth about the origins of Ebola. And this was written well over a decade ago. And it was an incredible read. It is quite graphic, but there's a lot of useful information. He talks of how this virus is a man-eater. It eats you from the inside out. Also, how Earth itself has its own antibody, and that human beings are like parasites, and this is Earth's way of getting back into balance. You had The Matrix, which also talked of this whole depopulation theme. Agent Smith, human beings are a disease, cancer to the planet, and we are the cure. We have to look at it and ask ourselves, why would someone want to create a virus in the first place? As a psychologist, I'm always looking at things from a different perspective. And if you follow the money, it will always take you to the answer. So, GlaxoSmithKline, a pharmaceutical company, also AstraZeneca, these companies are working day in, day out to get a drug that can treat Ebola right now. And when they find it, it's going to generate a lot of cash, you see. But the vice president of AstraZeneca, Steve Rees, he did a lecture talking about how if you combined rabies with Ebola, now you will have a zombie apocalypse. Right now on the planet, there is a lot of uncertainty. And in my own observation, I say that imagine people are conducting experiments to see how this biowarfare would work against people and animals. So there are a lot of research centers, not only in Africa, but all over the world. And people, they test on animals and human beings. You had the Tuskegee experiment, syphilis experiment, where people were given syphilis without an antibody, African Americans, just to see how they would react. This lasted for 40 years. So this goes on. And what happened in that scenario is that it showed you the lengths people would go to for research. So imagine right now if an animal escaped that they were experimenting on and went into a local village, and now this was the cause of the outbreak. Or they were experimenting on someone in a local village because it's transmitted through bodily fluids. So I don't put it past people, the military, the government, to have been the catalyst for this Ebola virus, because we have to see that nature itself is very peaceful. There was a time where we were in natural equilibrium with the planet, but now we have become like a virus on the planet. We are consuming resources everywhere and we are spreading like wildfire. But if we go back into history, or ancient history, you hear stories of plagues where entire populations were being wiped out. We see that is what is happening right now today. In the film I Am Legend, you had the Crippen virus. In the film 28 Days Later, you had the Rage virus, which produced zombie-like symptoms. Were these films trying to warn us about what is happening right now? Let's take a look at animals. The Ebola virus has been found in monkeys. Now, if these monkeys are being experimented on, maybe this is the karma returning back to us. Because who's to say that someone didn't eat a monkey with the Ebola virus? So I am being made more aware that all life forms on the planet have to be treated with the same level of respect. Once we stop just consuming animals of all different kinds for our own consumption all the time, maybe then we will have peace on earth. But until then, they will fight back with a vengeance and display and show themselves up in the most mysterious ways that we live our everyday life. Wake up. I say I am always about the solutions. And from my own knowing, viruses cannot live in an alkaline body. They can only thrive and multiply in a heavily acidic body. So a more plant-based diet is more effective, in my opinion, than pharmaceutical drugs. But all of this fear which is being generated, we have to ask ourselves, is this helping us become our greatest version? Also to question more and more, because whatever you read and whatever you hear always has an underlying agenda. So what is my agenda? To get you to question. And I say that there is always something deeper going on underneath the surface. Question everything. There you have it. Infinite waters, diving deep once again. Stay well, stay healthy. Peace.